Okay, let's talk a little bit about a couple things you need to do this week to be ready for assignments. The first thing is to make some forum posts. So you'll notice that on Tuesday, August 20th, that at the end of the day, you're supposed to have posted a question in the forum. Now, if you just click here to say post question in the forum, you'll notice that it just takes you back to the calendar, which doesn't really help. That's not what you want. So what you should do instead, that's just recording that it's something you need to do. It's not the actual forum itself. To get to the forum, here's what you need to do. You go to the left where it says discussions, click on that, and then where it says forum discussions, you click on that, and that opens up the forum. And you'll see the instructions here. It's 4 points possible altogether. By the end of Tuesday, post the question you'll use for your paper. By the end of Thursday, respond to at least 3 other people, each time taking a definite stand and giving 1 or more reasons for your position. There's some rules for the post. You may argue for any opinion you want to, but you may not personally attack anyone else or get upset if they disagree with you. Okay, so we may have some controversial issues here, and you can't get bothered if somebody else in the class has a position you think is completely wrong. You can't attack them personally. What you can do, though, is argue for your position. So here's what I'm going to do to start with. I'm going to pretend I'm one of you guys, and I'm going to post my reply. So this is the starting post, is just the set of instructions, and I put my own post in by hitting reply. And here is where I can type the reply. Now, I'm just going to put, first of all, this is a sample of a question taken from a previous semester. So what somebody asked in a previous semester is, do we have a duty to vote? Let me put it this way. They said something like this. My question is, do we have a duty to vote? And as I recall, they even explained it a little bit. They say, I was always taught that we should vote. But this year, several of my friends have decided not to vote because they don't like either candidate. Do you think we have a duty to vote? I guess that might be my question. When I'm fine with it, I'll go ahead and say post reply. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing, but with a question of your own. The only thing is it should be something that's controversial enough that you're pretty sure people could argue either side, and it should be a definite question. Don't just say my topic is what is voting. You need to ask the question, should we vote or not? Be very specific. Should we have a duty to vote is different than is voting a good thing. Should abortion be legal is different than is abortion morally acceptable. Those are different questions. Anyway, so that's what you can put here. Try to avoid using the exact same question somebody else has already asked. So, a matter of fact, if it's exactly the same, I may ask one of you to change it. So it'll be first come, first serve. The first question on there, it gets to be used, and then if somebody else wants the same question, they'll have to pick something else. Right. So here I am posting the reply. It should now be available for you guys to see in the forum. So the second thing I want you to do is by the end of Thursday. By the end of Tuesday, everybody should have posted their questions. So by Wednesday morning, there should be a ton of questions in here. What I want you to do is go through and pick at least 3 different people and respond to their question, taking a definite stand and giving at least 1 reason for your position. So to do that, you'll come back just where you did before. You'll scroll down and find whatever you want to reply to, and you hit reply below that. So let me reply to my own question here. This is normally not what you do. You'd reply to somebody else's. Let me put just in brackets, this is a sample of a reply taken from a previous semester. And I will copy this in so that we get exactly what we had before. Somebody in the previous semester said this. Let me do the con argument first. They said this. Let's say this is the con argument. Since it says no, we don't have a duty to vote. They wrote this. Hello? There. They wrote, this is the first election that I'm able to vote in, and I've decided not to vote. I don't think I should vote because they say that every vote matters and it isn't fair to our country to vote, since I don't know much about politics and I haven't followed the election. My vote would be based on social media rants and opinions of people who feel strongly against one of the candidates. I'm grateful to the people who take the time to follow and choose their candidate based on what they agree and disagree with. It's unfair to our society when a person votes just because they can. We should focus on making the right decisions regarding our future when it comes to our country's leader rather than making a popularity contest. So that's the first thing that I'll post. That's literally what somebody said a few semesters ago in response to this question. And so we'll use this as an example now all semester. I'm going to talk about writing the paper. We're going to actually write sort of a sample paper on do we have a duty to vote in class so you can see how it would look. Okay, so let me post that reply. And then you're supposed to do this 2 more times, but just for now, let's hit reply down. I'm going to hit reply up here to reply to the original question, and I'm going to put in the pro argument here. And here's what somebody said a couple semesters ago, actually about several years ago, about the pro argument. They said this. They said, I also think that we should vote. They were responding to someone else who said they thought we should vote. Not only because we have the right to vote, but also can have a say in what goes on in the government. Even though it's something very small, it still is my right. We're very fortunate to have this ability. I also don't think you should be educated before voting, or at least look at the backgrounds of the candidates. Not knowing what you're voting for defeats the purpose of doing so, in my opinion. All right. You may think that these aren't really good replies, and maybe that's true. It might be true that you're analyzing some arguments that you don't think work very well. But one of the things you're going to eventually be doing is trying to figure out how to improve them and make them work better. All right, so you need to do the same thing, except of course you won't reply to your own post, you'll reply to everybody else's. Once you've replied to 3 other people's posts, you've fulfilled this requirement. But I want to encourage you to reply to more if you'd like. What I want to do is see this forum become a place with lots and lots of activity. So if you want to keep having a long debate with somebody on the forum, feel free to. If you want to respond to more than 3 things, feel free to. I'm only requiring 3 things plus your original post. All the rest is optional, but you don't get extra credit for it. But definitely go ahead and keep talking if you think there's more to say. All right, hopefully that makes sense. You should do the same thing. Your original post by the end of Tuesday and your other posts by the end of Thursday. All right, the second thing that I need to have you do immediately is go to People. Now, let me switch to a student view so that you can see what this looks like. This is what it will look like for you. Go to People and say everyone, and list everybody in the class, and then go to Groups. And I have arranged for 7 different groups. What I want you to do is to get into groups of 4 people each at the most. Could be fewer than 4, but at most 4. So eventually, if nobody has chosen groups, I'll just put you in groups of 4, however it shows up. But for now, what I want you to do is invite you to pick your own group. So put yourself in a group, and if there's somebody you know or people you also want to be along with, just make sure you all put yourself in the same group, as long as there's no more than 4 of you. So sometime in the next couple of days, probably by the end of Wednesday, I guess, I don't have a strict deadline on this, you should put yourself into a group. So within the next couple of days, I should see every student in a group somewhere. If there ends up being only 1 person in the last group, I may have to, I may just override this and let one of them have 5 people instead. All right, if you have no idea, you can just put yourself in a group at random and see who ends up in there with you. So throughout the semester, you're going to meet in these groups occasionally in class and have small discussions there and then report back to the class. I'll ask questions and maybe have every group answer one part of the question or something. You may do some other things outside of class, but your online assignments in the first 3 weeks are often going to be based on group assignments. I'm going to have the whole group do something, and then I'm going to grade you based on how you did as a group. This will be a help. So if you do know people that you already want to work together with, put yourself in the same group. So that's what to do next. I won't give you anything to do as a group yet until I do the next couple of videos. Those will come probably tomorrow or Wednesday, and that will leave you something to do specifically for the page 9 exercise. Oh, I missed something I wanted to mention. When you go to the groups, you'll notice what I see is a lock over here. That's because I'm not really a student in the class, so I can't join a group. What you'll see is the word join. It'll say that you're allowed to join any of the groups that aren't full yet. And so you'll be able to click the word join, and that will put you in the group. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. That's all the videos I'm going to give you for now. In the next couple days, I'm going to give you a whole bunch more talking about arguments, talking about validity. The only other thing you can think about doing in the meantime is we're looking at chapter 1 right now. So feel free to be reading through chapter 1 because that's what all the online lectures are going to be in the next couple of days. And if you want to read ahead, that's where we will be. Okay, thanks.